As parents, we all know the feeling of being overrun by toys, constantly tripping over them, struggling to find a place for them, and fighting with your child about them. And if you're in that boat, don't stress. This video is going to guide you through how many toys to have, my step-by-step process for decluttering and getting the kids to help with it, a controversial toy maintenance trick, some of my favorite toy organization essentials, and just some of the signs that it's time to declutter and the benefits of it. If you want to jump ahead to any section, there's chapters in the description box below. And if you guys are new here, my name's Rachel from The Confused Mom. Welcome to my channel. I share baby and toddler product reviews, activities, as well as Montessori at home tips. Let's jump into a few quick signs it's time to declutter. If you're already here, you probably have already felt some of these in yourself, but I want to share these so that you don't reach a breaking point in the future. The first one is going to be the most obvious, and that's going to be space constraints. If toys have encroached on every area of your home, constantly stepping on them, and you can't find them a home, it's definitely time to get rid of some. The second one is going to be overwhelm and stress. Now, you can probably recognize those feelings in yourself, but in kids, that can look like extra whininess, crankiness, or fighting with siblings. And lastly, if the toys are no longer being played with, this could be a sign that your child has simply outgrown them. The way to test that theory is by rotating it out for a couple months and then bringing it back out and seeing if it gets played with again. Or it could be a sign that there's just too many toys around and your child is feeling overwhelmed with the amount of choices. On that note, the benefits of toy decluttering are pretty extensive and even backed by research. The University of Toledo found that children in a decluttered play environment demonstrated greater focus and creativity. A study published in the Infant Behavior and Development revealed that an organized play environment with a limited number of toys promoted better cognitive development in toddlers, and it also helps them learn organizational skills, encourages responsibility in decision making, enhances social skills, and cultivates an appreciation for their things. From a safety standard, by doing regular toy declutterings, you're also ensuring that your child is not playing with any broken or loose toys that could pose a safety hazard. Plus, there's the joy of giving if you donate your old toys, and also reducing environmental impact. When it comes to how many toys a child should have, there's no magic number. It's going to be unique to your family, your house's setup, and your child. However, a lot of people like to follow the 20 toy rule. Less is often more, and the big thing here is that limited visual clutter leads to a deeper play. So the 20 toy rule is considered a toy minimalist approach where your child has 20 toys. Why it's so great is that it means any 20 toys. You don't need to have like, okay, we're gonna have this specific thing here and this specific subcategory here. It's literally just choosing toys that your child likes and supports their age appropriate development. Now, the big thing with having 20 toys is that you're not gonna put all 20 of these toys into a toy bin in their bedroom and call it a day, because if we know anything, we know kids like to play where the people are. And those toys in a toy trunk somewhere off in their bedroom are just not gonna get played with. Instead, what I suggest having, if you watch any of my playroom tours or guides, to have little playstations set up around the house. For us, one of the high priority areas is off of our kitchen. I find this makes it a lot easier to get meals cooked if the kids are in close proximity, but not under my feet. I tend to suggest having 5 to 10 toys per play area if you're taking an ultra minimalist approach. When it comes to the actual steps to declutter with your children, the first and most important thing is going to be communication. Yes, that even applies if they are a baby or young toddler. I like to tell them what they can expect from a toy declutter, but I only like to give them the heads up we're doing this the morning of. Kids and time have a wonky relationship, and I find if you tell them this a day before or days before, it can kind of become this anxiety point, this scary boogeyman of what's happening, when's it happening. The younger they are, the less lead time you're gonna give them with this. I also suggest doing this if you're just starting out around holidays, so birthdays, Christmas, all that good stuff, when they have new stuff coming in. I find my kids are a lot more willing to part with their items if we frame it around, let's make space for the new things coming, and they know they aren't going to be left with nothing, because kids are very black and white, all or nothing, and obviously we know they're still going to have toys at the end of the day, but in their head, you took all my toys away, can be a very simple jump. In our step-by-step process, the first thing we do is pull all of the toys out. You can do this for your entire home or room by room. We tend to do this room by room just to make it manageable as a task we can get done that day. As we're doing this, I also like to point out toys that were handed down to them from friends to remind them that they are not the only children doing this, and to think about the joy they felt in getting that gift from a friend and how they're passing that joy on. The next thing we do is sort things into categories. One really great way to involve your child here is to create pictures of each category and help them with the sorting process. You can do this like high level categories and then subcategories, which is what I typically do. The way I like to start organizing our toys is breaking things down into 4 categories first. Any broken toys and toys with missing pieces. Toys I personally hate, because I know those toys are either going to get stored into their bedroom if they have a strong attachment to them, or those toys are going to be ones that we get rid of quickly. They're most loved toys because we know those aren't going anywhere. And then I put kind of like everything else. And that everything else pile is where I tend to make pictures and have the kids sort them. So I'll have a pile for balls, cars, for doll stuff, which leads us to the dwindling down process. With everything sorted, you're now going to ask, how many of this toy does my child actually need? For littles, you may just do this for them based off of the items you see them play with. As kids get a little bit older, you want to involve them. Keep or get rid of?
Keep.
Keep or get rid of?
Keep.
Keep or get rid of?
Whatever.
If they're having a hard time deciding between 5 different fire trucks, you could ask them things like, what do you like about this one? What do you not like about it? How often do you use this? And teaching them how to evaluate things like that is an invaluable skill set you're giving them. Next, we ask, where does each thing live? I definitely suggest going back and watching our playroom tour to see how we organize everything. But the big thing here is everything in your house should have a home, and everybody in your home should know where it belongs. So we start putting all the toys back, and if anything isn't fitting, that is another opportunity to keep dwindling down. And lastly, we maintain and review things regularly based off of those signs it's time to declutter, as well as if there's any holidays coming up. Even if there's still room in the bin, I still have them get rid of at least 2 things. In terms of keeping things clean and organized regularly, like on the daily, I employ a controversial and harsh technique. Before we jump into that, I want to say I always do the typical like Montessori gentle parenting approach, where I narrate throughout my day, oh, it feels so good to have a clean space. I can think so much clearer and breathe easier when I'm not tripping over things, or when everything feels tidy, whatever it is. Making sure you're just kind of like narrating those thoughts out loud to your kid becomes their internal voice as they get older. So it's always just a good skill and habit to be in. However, let's be real, we all fall off sometimes. Life gets the better of us and things get messy. And if my kids are being sour about helping clean up the playroom in their play space, I basically give my kids a kick in the butt and tell them I'm going to start throwing away their toys. I know it's harsh, and I probably triggered some gentle parenting people out there by saying that, but here's the thing. It has to do with the energy you bring to the situation when you deliver that message. I'm not saying it with malice and from my angry place most of the time. Instead, I generally keep it based off of facts, skewed through the Montessori lens of care of self and care of environment. So what that may sound like is, I asked you to put your shoes in the garage. If you want these shoes, you need to put them in the garage. I'm gonna fold the laundry, and if these aren't in the garage by the time I'm done, they're gonna go in the trash and you'll have to buy yourself some new shoes. Clear boundary, here's the facts, take care of it. On Christmas Eve, we also did a huge cleanup by telling the kids that we better put everything away so Santa doesn't come and trip. So it's not punitive, it's just teaching them through the lens of cause and effect, and how caring for your environment is caring for yourself and others. Now, of course, if you have a toddler, you know that if you tell them you're gonna throw their toys in the trash, they're not gonna believe you. In fact, they're going to test you on this and see how serious you are. So the big question, have I ever thrown my child's toys away? I put the toy in the trash, and I also checked that the trash wasn't super gross before I did this, and I just left it there. When she inevitably freaked out, I simply said, I told you I was putting it in the trash. If you changed your mind and you want to take care of it, it's still there and I'm not stopping you from getting it. But if I see it on the ground again, I'm gonna throw it out again. So she went, got it out of the trash, and that was that. Now, with that said, make sure everyone's on the same page. Like a month later, my husband had seen me do this and he was going off about her not having something clean. So he went and threw the toy away and then went and took the trash out. So when my daughter went to go get the item, like 5 minutes later out of the trash, and the trash wasn't there, she really freaked out and learned that lesson. He went and fetched it out of the trash, and we had to talk about, we needed to give them a moment to feel the regret of their decision decision to change their course of action. But yeah, test it with you. They're gonna test it with whoever else lives in the house. Be prepared for that. And also, some kids, it might take doing it more than one time for them to see how serious you are about sticking to your boundaries. For more kind of examples like that, about taking the emotional charge out of parenting situations, I would say watch my traditional versus modern parenting reframe video, and I walk you guys through a few more of those. Toy organization essentials for the decluttering process. And I walk you guys through some of the most popular ones. Number one is going to be a toy hammock. This is a great decorative storage solution for the corner of a room. You can go ahead and put soft toys there like play kitchen fruit, stuffed animals, even balls can go there. A rolling cart is one of my favorite for items that are a little bit trickier. So we have our arts and crafts supplies on there, things that I wasn't totally sure if I wanted my 2-year-old to have full access to. So if he ever has a hard time with just wanting to color on the walls or just make a mess of everything, I can easily wheel that away. It's also a good place to keep your Legos, sensory items like Play-Doh, anything that you kind of just maybe throw your hands up and are like, why did I ever give my kid this toy? I would put on a cart that you can wheel away. We also recently got this storage box. It comes with 3 or 7 levels and adjustable dividers. You can put craft supplies or bracelet and necklace kit supplies in here. You can color coordinate your Legos here. You can put Hot Wheels cars. So many options with this. And then of course, transparent storage boxes are always great for toy rotation and organization. We recently did this with our Love Every play kit overflow. What I love about it is I was able to flip the Love Every play guide so that you could visually see what was in the box. I have found that my kids have been asking to play with some of the older items so much more because they can actually see the picture of what's inside the box from where they're standing. And of course, these little zippered bags are always going to be some of my favorites. Take puzzles out of their boxes and tape the picture of the puzzle on the bag so that we see what's inside. We've used this for Play-Doh over the years. You can move board games out of their big boxes and into these. We theme dolls in here. My daughter has like these 3D foam puzzle doll houses, so we put an entire one in each of these. These are literally great for grouping small items or getting rid of bulky boxes and literally everything. You can organize your Legos like this. Lots and lots of options. If you have toy decluttering hacks that have worked for your family, we'd love to hear them in the comments. Help other families out below. Be sure to hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss my next video. I have some shorts coming out with some toy organization hacks and ideas. And until next time, be sure to go back, check out those playroom toys. And as always, my name's Rachel. Have a good one.